Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
State Systems is focused on protecting life and property. As a local, privately owned company, our foundation was built on providing all businesses with complete fire and security protection and infrastructure cabling. State Systems is proud to be a part of the Mid-South community and a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Additional funding for the Spark provided by Christian Brothers University and Power and Tell.
This month on The Spark, our theme is Starts with S. We'll learn more about 3 organizations that start with S, like one focused on engaging, encouraging, and empowering impoverished youth in some of Memphis's toughest neighborhoods. Another working to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome stray and abandoned dogs. And a full-service advertising agency known for branding businesses and championing nonprofits. Have you ever been excited by a new idea, inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way, so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders that are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. They're focused on engaging, encouraging, and empowering our youth in Memphis's toughest neighborhoods. I'm here with the Executive Director for Streets Ministries, Reggie Davis, and unique storyline in terms of forming Streets Ministries that started with a basketball, right?
That's right. It is Memphis, Tennessee. So it started with a basketball, a van, and a Bible, and a man named Ken Bennett. Ken in 1987 had a heart to go reach young men in the Claiborne and Foot Homes community by making a difference in their life with the gospel and just sharing his life with them. And so that's what it started with, those 3 things. Well,
and you look at it as faith and especially sports, using recreation as an opportunity to open that door. And very much, so you've got 2 beautiful centers that's what they are. The door is open so the youth can pour in, and with that then the relationship starts to build. So describe the centers, because obviously these are absolutely amazing centers, basketball, foosball, computer labs, but talk about the centers overall and how that is the draw, the magnet.
Well, it is the draw. It is the open door where kids come, and we provide all of that. There's a gym where you can play basketball, volleyball, indoor soccer. There's a video game room, a computer lab. We have a large rec room with pool, foosball, game boards, a patio space. So,
see, what kid wouldn't love that?
Exactly. So kids, they're attracted to the building first off. And then once they're inside of the building, they have these caring adults, you know, our staff, part and full-time, who are engaged in their lives on a daily basis, sharing with them. And also you can get a mentor. You can ask for a mentor, and then that goes to a deeper level. So, but it, you know, it's like a nice cup of coffee. I can give you a cup that has Starbucks on it, but it could be filled with Exxon coffee. Or I can give you a bad looking cup and it could be filled with something amazing. And so we hope that we're providing not only a great space, but once they get inside, what's inside is even better than the building.
Well, and the fact that I really appreciate is that it starts with, okay, let's draw them in. But once they're in, it goes beyond the physical and it starts to really step into the aspect of love. And for many of these kids, you know, many of them are raised with single parent households. They don't have a mentor. They don't have a father figure. They don't have someone that really shows up on a regular basis just for them. And I think that's the aspect, is you're taking it a step further and saying, okay, we've got the building, we've got the draw, we've got the homework help and all the things over here, but now we're going to step in and we're going to treat your spirit and your soul. And that's a big game changer for these kids.
Yeah, and that's fundamentally why Streets exists. From 1987 through Ken Bennett, it is, we want to provide to kids the hope and the love of Christ in a real relationship that is unconditional, that has no strings attached. We want kids to know that we care about them, we believe in them, we believe that they have a hope and that they have a future. And that's from the moment they walk through those doors. And I'll even say it goes beyond those doors, because our staff spends time on campus on a daily and weekly basis. So we go into the lunchrooms, we go to their practices, we show up at their games. when sometimes their parents won't even show up. And so they know that we're there for them and that we genuinely care about what's going on in their life.
Talk about being a mentor, because your expectation is fairly low, just an hour a week. But that hour a week for those children, and you just touched on it, is many times their parents don't show up. And so to have someone that takes time away from their busy life over here, who's not even biologically related to them and not paid to be there, who's not staff, that truly shows up just because they care about that one child. Talk about just that aspect. I
think that is the potential of the real difference maker for the city of Memphis, and not just streets. When kids know that there's an adult who cares about them unconditionally, I'm not being paid to come spend time with you, I'm not gaining anything other than your benefit. You becoming a better person, you having a better outlook on life, maybe even you having access to things that you didn't have before. That is the game changer for Memphis. There are too many young people in our city lack that. Sometimes they can't get it at home. Sometimes they can't get it at school. But if they can come to streets and find a mentor who's plugging into their lives and really showing them, I care about you and I want to see you be successful, you see the light come on for kids, and that is rewarding. And that's the perspective. It's one family. They may not be my biological children, but they're all our children. Yes. And so I love that that's your true heart. Talk about success stories, because you have roughly 800 kids that work through streets and go through the programs. Right. You have 80 mentors, which that's the part we've got to really build up, obviously. Yes. And that's a big part of having you on the show, is talking about just easy ways to get engaged. But talk about success stories. I know there's many of them, but you on your end, you get to see this growth, this progression where the kids walk through the doors, they form those relationships, and the evolution that takes place. One I'll talk about is a young lady named Cassandra, who's been a part of streets since she was probably in the 6th grade. She had a mentor, and she is now finishing her last semester at the University of Memphis. But she works part-time for us, and now she's giving back to the students what she received. And that is why we do what we do, because we know we can't save every kid, but we can do a better job. And so she's one of those success stories where someone poured into her life, streets came alongside her and her family, and now she's about to finish college. She's worked with us, and she has also given back. And so there's no greater success story than that. Yeah. Absolutely. So how can we as the public help? Obviously being a mentor. So the expectation extremely low, an hour a week, and obviously the difference that can make is profound. But what are some other ways that the public can help your efforts with Streets Ministries? Yeah. We're a nonprofit, so obviously, someone can become a funder, a donor, and we always welcome that. But on a practical, easy level, you can swing by occasionally to come in the gym and hang out with some guys who are playing basketball. Shoot some hoops, right? Shoot some hoops, be a coach. So many of our young people lack positive coaching. And so be a coach. Whatever your talent is, whatever your joy and passion is, come share that with our students. There was a lady I met, one of my neighbors recently, who told me she plays bridge and she's a part of some National Bridge Association. And she asked if any of the kids would be interested in learning how to play bridge. And I said, if you come and spend time with them and teach them, they would love it. Absolutely. And so that's what I would say. Whatever your passion is, whatever your joy is, come introduce that to some of the young men and women in the streets. And I know that even just being a part of the computer lab, helping with homework, that's a big part of it as well, because obviously the kids come in and time to finish their homework, that's a great opportunity to plug in. Yeah, helping kids with homework, and we also work with elementary students. I think most people think we only do middle school and high school, but we specifically work with K through 3 students at Kingsbury Elementary to help them get their reading levels up where they need to be on grade level. Nice. Because 67% of kids in the city of Memphis are not reading on grade level by the end of 3rd grade. And studies also show that 67% of kids who don't read on grade level will end up in prison or on welfare. And so we feel like we have this opportunity to be an answer to that. And so we invite people to be a part of that process. And we have an in-school, so if you're free during the day, you can be a part of that, or after school. Well, there you go. So make sure and definitely look into being a mentor. Absolutely profound effect you can have on the life of a young person. So thanks for coming on the show and sharing. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
their branding, their marketing, their PR, their interactive, their Sullivan Branding. I'm here with the principal and CEO of Sullivan Branding, Brian Sullivan. And give us a little bit of the backstory, because I know very unique in terms of forming Sullivan Branding, a lot of pieces coming together to create what is Sullivan Branding. So give us a little bit of the history.
Yeah, it's been an evolution. You know, we started our co-founded an agency, I think, in 2001. We had, I think, 5 people at the time, and really wanted to make a mark within the marketing world in Memphis. We ended up having the opportunity to buy a couple agencies, long-established agencies, Saussman Associates, and a couple years later, Thompson & Company. And so we've pulled all that together, and ultimately, it's settled on one name, and Sullivan Branding. Branding part being very intentional. That's something that we thought a great deal about. It's something that it lets people know that we get involved in every touch point with a consumer, whether it's internal or external.
That's a great point. And so on your end, I mean, kind of walk us through a la carte the different areas you specialize in, because it's PR, it's marketing, it's tactical, but it's also strategy. It's very much interactive too, with websites and search engine optimization and diving into Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So walk us through kind of the nuances of Sullivan Branding.
Yeah, so, you know, we consider ourselves to be really a full-service firm. And full service has not always been cool, but we've been full service even when it wasn't cool, because we think it benefits our clients. And essentially we have experts in every, you know, strategy, whether it be advertising or direct or public relations or digital, all under the same roof. And they have the opportunity to collaborate on communication challenges with each other every day. So we don't have to just go find a PR person or go find someone to talk to us about any specific area. Our biggest focus lately has been the digital area, and it's really trying to educate our clients in the sense that, you know, digital is not a standalone thing, that it's a part of everything that we're doing. We think about that first. We're developing a concept or an idea to solve a communications challenge. That is the first piece of it. It's not just a new distribution channel. It's actually the driver of everything, and all the other pieces really support that.
Well, what's interesting is, to me, that's a very important trend when you talk about marketing, is that it used to be more broadcasting. So we're going to buy traditional media and we're going to put our message out. And now, instead of talking ad, it's very much conversational. It's with. And so talk about just that aspect, that huge trend when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, so it's like you said, we're not talking at people, we're talking with them. So our goal really is to generate engagement with people, and the engagement can come in lots of different forms. We still use all of the traditional media as well. The point of that is to really drive them someplace online so we can have a conversation with them. The social is the same way. You know, we're in a position where we help people with social media make posts, generate content, but we also serve a role where we're responding to people's comments, because it's a great customer service tool, Facebook in particular,
Absolutely.
or Twitter as well. So we, for our clients, will respond to those things as well. We have an escalation tree. If it's something really serious, you know, we'll involve them as well. But it's been, I mean, we're playing lots of different roles for people, and probably 50% of our business is not, you know, advertising related. It's more, I mean, we're involved in helping companies develop corporate cultures, writing speeches, doing internal brand conferences, you know, sales training, and that's research. So anything that involves talking to someone, whether it's an internal or external audience, you know, we can help.
Well, what's really fascinating about that is just, you know, when you look even 5-10 years ago, the fact that now everything is digital and right on our phone. And so we're answering emails, we're living on our phone. I mean, 85% of the correspondence, even with Lipscomb Pitts Breakfast Club, we found was all on a digital device, on a mobile phone. And so that's a huge game changer, especially now where, to your point, individuals, consumers can just reach out through Facebook and through Twitter and Instagram and directly connect with a company, whether it's with a need or an opportunity or a complaint, whatever it is. It's now very conversational, one-on-one. And I think it's a big shift.
Instantaneous. And we always say in our office that you have to think, you know, mobile first. You have to write things differently for mobile. You have to design differently for mobile so that you don't have to scroll and all that.
Right. You have to have a picture.
Right. You have to have a picture. Yeah. And it also, I think the immediacy of that has increased the need for the customer service component on social too, because people when they're irritated, they're going to fire something off immediately, and they can do it, you know, like that. So,
right.
And they want a response, and it's a great opportunity to recover from a customer service challenge.
Give us another, when you talk about just the things that you're looking at as major trends, obviously the talking with versus talking at, the digital, the technology, what are some of the other things that you're really intently focused on?
Well, we're intently focused on finding talent, but that talent really has the ability, or we want that talent to have the ability to leverage technology, like animation technology and software that's available to us. I mean, we're basically becoming, you know, content developers, so we have to be able to do everything in-house. You know, we're building a studio in our new office so that we can do more filming and photography and animation, just to try to catch people's attention.
When you think about it, even like you used to have to be at Pixar or an animation, you know, specialist, and now people at home are making animations.
Yeah, yes, they are, and they're pretty good. I mean, absolutely. If you spend any time at all on YouTube, you can see people are doing some pretty cool stuff.
So one of the really fun parts is talking about philanthropy, because you yourself heavily involved, your team volunteering, serving on boards, you know, helping nonprofits brand and get their word out and build awareness and a following. So on a number of different fronts, you're highly engaged. Talk about just overall your philosophy when it comes to Sullivan branding being fully integrated in with the community.
Yeah, we believe very strongly in that. You know, we're here in Memphis and we're going to be here. This is where we've all chosen to live. We've chosen to raise our families here, so we want to do what we can to give back. The agency spends probably, you know, 1,000 hours a year or so on nonprofit work, and then each individual within the company is encouraged to be involved in things that they're passionate about. We support them by giving them the time to do that during working hours. We've never taken the time to add it all up, but I think it's pretty significant. We really want people to do that. We think that it enriches their experience, their life, you know, here in Memphis. So they find things that you're interested in and then figure out some way to, it could be volunteering or developing a logo or a strategy or whatever.
Give us one fun nonprofit project or a success story. I know there's many and countless, but give us maybe one that stands out.
I think the Botanic Garden is a very good example of when we're able to work with somebody to develop Live at the Gardens existed for a long time, but we worked with them maybe 5-6 years ago to sort of revamp that whole thing, revamp the way that it's put together and the way it's sold, and you can't take all the credit for the success of the raising the money and building a permanent stage, but I think we played a small role in that.
Nice. Well, I greatly appreciate everything you're doing, not only on the business front, but more importantly on the community front as well. So thanks for coming on the show and sharing.
Yeah, appreciate it.
They rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome stray and abandoned dogs here in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm here with the co-founder of the Street Dog Foundation, Melanie Daniel Pafford. And obviously co-founder, so you have a personal tie to Street Dog Foundation, but give us a little bit of the history for where Street Dog Foundation started.
Well, my husband and I got a call to go to Memphis Animal Services, and this was back when it was on Chulahoma, to go help a friend find a dog that they thought they'd lost. We had no idea, as most people who have never been there, what that experience would be like. We went in to find a dog, and we saw probably about 500 children. Wow. And that's the way we viewed them. So many dogs come into Memphis Animal Services, and they can't turn any away. So there are so many that are put down. They know they're going to be put down, and I don't think people often look into their eyes knowing that. And we were looking for a particular dog, and so we had to go to every cage. And in every cage, I'm talking to every one of them, looking into their eyes, and I'm seeing children. And we left with 3. We didn't leave with the dog that was supposed to be there. That dog was found later. But we left with 3, had no idea what we were doing. I think most people in rescue start that way too. But we took ours to our beloved vet and asked for his coaching advice and talked with each other probably cried 3 nights straight up the table going, what are we going to do? And we felt like this was our mission. Get these dogs off the streets. So thus, Street Dog Foundation.
And so what I love is that it's proactive, and you're noticers. And so you've built this network of noticers that are watching. And the thing is that you don't have a physical location necessarily, as it is you're finding the dogs, you're tied in kind of with this network with the veterinarians, and so you're able to get them rehabilitation and treatment, get them well, but you place them with, at first, maybe temporary homes to give them a place and shelter and food and all the toys and everything else to give them love. But then ultimately the goal is to place them in a forever home, a family that's going to love them. Right. And so talk about just kind of overall those different nuances with finding the animals, giving them the treatment, placing them with maybe a temporary, but then ultimately the goal is a permanent home.
Well, when we find them, and we tend to get the dogs that have the worst situations on the streets. And once we get a dog, we go to bat for that dog, you know, whatever medical this dog needs, whatever it costs, whatever emotional, social rehab beyond the medical, we'll do that. And once we get those dogs medically rehabilitated, we move on to fosters. Our rescue is foster-based, no facility, and our numbers are between 136 and 150 dogs. Wow. So fosters are crucial. The fosters know the whole history of the dog, and so they know that they're not getting this necessarily happy puppy who's never had anything bad happen to it. These are dogs that have had the worst of the worst, and unlike us, these dogs have forgiveness that is amazing, and they just want to be loved, and they have so much to teach us. In fact, I tell people, if you bond with these dogs, if you understand, if you look into their eyes and you talk to them complex sentences and get to know them, you'll understand they're our guardian angels, and they're here to make us better people. All the ones I've dealt with have taught me so much. But they go into these foster homes, and the fosters may keep them short-term, they may keep them long-term. We don't have a specific time date of this dog must be out by this time and get into a permanent home, because we run this like an orphanage. And in an orphanage, you don't go in and go, hey, I want that kid, sign the dotted line, they're out of there. We want to place these dogs with the families that will be the very best home for the dog. And every dog that we bring in off the streets, we look into their eyes and we promise them, your life will be wonderful from here on out. We are not just going to get you a good home. We're going to get you the very best home for you.
Nice. And
we ask the people that come and look at our dogs, because we do have adoption events, we ask them to, you know, if they go through their adoption application process and all is cleared there, to, if they find a dog that they bond with, then that they will take the dog home. There's a 2-week trial, so nobody has signed any paperwork yet, and there's no contract. They need to see how the dog fits in with their lifestyle and their energy and vice versa, because you can have great families and great dogs, but it might not be the great fit. Kind of like if you have a couch potato family and a high-energy dog, a high-energy dog's going, hey y'all, come on out, take me running. So we wait for that fit. We are not in a hurry to just move dogs out, because we make this promise to every single dog.
Well, the thing that I like about it is a lot of different factors. One is, it actually too is quality of life for our city. So when you see stray dogs in a neighborhood roaming the streets, that's not a good sign for the livelihood. So by being able to place these dogs and get them help, but also to place them in permanent homes, you're doing the community goodwill right there. Second is the love and the aspect there, and for any family that has a dog, I mean, you know, just the energy, the love, the companionship, all of those things are so important. But the other aspect of this is really you're setting it up in terms of the structure is so easy, because you've got volunteer opportunities. Obviously anybody can be a foster parent, but also too, for those that are animal lovers that want to play a role in this, being an adoptive parent, so to speak, and a forever home for these animals, you're building this network to where everybody wins.
Right. And one of the things we do when we have our adoptions, we say, if you're going to adopt one of our dogs, you are adopting Street Dog Foundation family too, because once the contract is signed, and we do have a ceremony. Some people choose to have private ones, some have parties, some have cookouts, you know, all this stuff. It's very sweet. But the person who was fostering, or there may have been several people along the way that were doing temporary fostering, they're all invited too. They're godparents. So if you adopted a dog from us, you have us as a support system. So you can call me in the middle of the night and go, oh, you know, I think my dog is sick, what do I do? I'm there for you, and so are all the godparents, and so are all the volunteers, the Street Dog Foundation. So for the person who, you know, wants this to happen, wants to adopt a dog, having that support system makes it so easy, instead of, oh, what did I do? I just adopted this dog. I need some help here. Yep. It's a wonderful system.
Well, make sure and get in touch with Street Dog Foundation and be a foster parent right off the bat. So greatly appreciate you coming on the show and sharing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Even though our theme might have been broad with starts with S, as we saw in this month's episode, another S unites these organizations as well as our city: service. Streets Ministries is serving our youth in some of the toughest neighborhoods with educational, athletic, and mentor-based programs. Their centers are a safe haven and filled with love, support, and positive direction. The Street Dog Foundation is serving our four-legged companions and helping them find loving forever homes, while Sullivan Branding is providing their expertise and service to help our businesses and nonprofits share their stories, grow, and thrive. As Gandhi famously quoted, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Indeed, the more we serve each other in our city, the more we find ourselves. So thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests and to interact with your stories of others leading by example, visit thesparktv.org. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll join with us in creating a spark for the Mid-South.
Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
State Systems is focused on protecting life and property. As a local, privately owned company, our foundation was built on providing all businesses with complete fire and security protection and infrastructure cabling. State Systems is proud to be a part of the Mid-South community and a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.